I see so many people doing this, and bringing again Grant Cardone as an example. I thought because of his personality, I thought he was a typical Wolf of Wall Street. You gotta close, and then I saw one video where he was telling one of his sales guy, what happened if that person doesn't want to talk to you? You push too hard. At some point, you gotta back down. It's about helping people, not put. And I was like, wow, I wouldn't expect that from him. So of course he has to be good. And I wonder, in this world of sales, and we get it, there's a line that I also like in your video that says, no sales, no food. I have to make money, right? Because I have to pay the bills. And that happens a lot in our space, where there's a lot of entrepreneurs that you just have to go out and get some business. So I wonder if does it ever work? Is it for big companies that they can just burn through salespeople and have them burn their network? Because at some point, I imagine these people have to be blocked. Some people, maybe they just don't want to talk to them anymore. These people just like pitch slapping anyone, or having a VA sending a cold outreach for them. What do you think is happening there? Does it ever work and it's just another way, and some people don't care? What happens that so many people out there are pitch slapping from your perspective?
So this is a really important question. And, I think there are differing philosophies. I'm always going to lean on human to human, because it's core to my nature. And I don't like being pitch slapped, and I don't think other people like it either. That said, business has to be done. So I think you saw my story on my website, where I talked about the fact that in 2017 and 2018, I had made the decision to pivot my business. Now, I had been in a situation where all of our business came from referrals and inbound, and I literally did not make a sales call for 10 years. I forgot how to sell, honestly. And so when I made a decision to pivot into a new industry, I didn't have that network, and I was starting from scratch. And I think a lot of salespeople, when they take a position, they're in that same situation. They don't have an existing network. They may have a Rolodex, proverbial Rolodex that they're bringing with them, but that doesn't mean that Rolodex is full of buyers. It's just contacts. And for me, I did not have a Rolodex in my target market. So I had to start from scratch, and I hate cold calling. I don't believe in buying an email list and spamming that any more than I believe in pitch slapping. So I'm not going to do that. But like you pointed out, if I don't sell, we don't eat. And so, because I'm self-employed, I don't have like a base. So I had to make progress quickly, and I used LinkedIn. Now, I evaluated quite a few of those companies that outsource LinkedIn lead generation. And I think that this is where some of those behaviors are coming from. Okay. So those companies make money by taking a whole bunch of different accounts and trying to optimize how they send out connection requests and DMs and sequences to try to get responses. But they're in business to bring in more accounts, and their churn rate with the clients is really, really high. So usually they'll sign people for a 6-month contract, and that's about how long their clients last. So they have to be efficient. And, if they're charging a client $3,000 a month to do LinkedIn outreach, they've got to be super, super efficient with that outreach. They're probably hiring VAs in the Philippines to do a lot of the work, and it needs to be cookie cutter, same message over and over and over again. They're probably using bots, whether they tell you they are or not.
Which could get your account bound, by the way.
Which is a really good way to land in LinkedIn jail. Yeah. Well, outsourcing itself is a really good way to land in LinkedIn jail, because that's also a violation of LinkedIn's terms of service. So, but they have to be efficient. So they publish a ton of thought leadership. And that's what I got attracted to in 2017, was all of this best practices about how to use LinkedIn. And back in 2017, honestly, it worked better. Because people hadn't piled onto this technique yet. So what they said was, you send a connection request that mentions the person's name and the company name, because those you can actually automate, field of first name, field company name, and field how many years they've been there, for example, and I noticed you're CEO of Propel Growth and you've been there for 15 years. I'd like to connect with you and share a little bit about what we do, or something like that. And then they just send that same connection request to everybody. I have completely lost my train of thought, but I know that did not work for me. I used that methodology. It got me connections, but it did not get me meetings. Yeah. So I shifted after experimenting with that methodology for a couple of months. I shifted and went 100% personalized. The other thing they all recommend is doing content drops. So, hey, Alejandro, thanks for connecting with me. I bet you'd be interested in this article that I wrote about how to be successful on LinkedIn. You did not request it. And then a lot of people will scrape your email address and subscribe you, which is why I keep getting added to all these email lists, is because people are auto-subscribing me after I connect. A connection is not a subscription. And so then they pitch slap me with offers, and I was pitch slapping. So I'd send you this offer. Hey, Alejandro, thanks for connecting. Since we're connected, you're clearly interested in me and what I do. And so here's this article that I just know you're going to be interested in. A week later, I know, Alejandro, that you loved that article. So here's another one. It's free, so it's not a pitch, right? Yes, it's still a pitch just because it's free. And then after the third or fourth spam message like that, then I'm like, Alejandro, clearly you're interested in all this content I've been sending you. Now, I don't know that. I can't tell that you've clicked, but I'm going to just assume it and ask you for a meeting so I can pitch my stuff to you even more. Yeah, people don't want those pitches. And so they don't accept those meetings. So the meeting acceptance ratio was really low. When I shifted and just got really super personal and looked for some nugget of information on your profile and connected based on that and started a conversation in LinkedIn, then asked them if they'd like to get acquainted, I booked 125 meetings in 6 months. And that's how I built my network.
Yeah, that happens a lot. And to me, that's what the feed is for. If you have a really good article or something posted there, and then if people engage with it, if they decide to opt in, and I'm a little bit extremist about it. I even do it with my family because I don't even send photos. I'm like, if you want to see what I'm doing, like my Facebook profile, that's like, I don't want to spam people with like, I don't know, my baby photos. It's like, I'm probably in the other end of the spectrum, but I think LinkedIn and probably most of these platforms could learn a lot from the gaming world. Maybe they should talk together, because this happens a lot in the gaming world where there are hackers, there are people abusing the system, and they have a really good way of, hey, you can report people. What is it that they did? Then they get shadow banned, then they get banned. I think Activision just released a new way of dealing with people before they were just creating new accounts. And now they have a way of, I don't know how they do it. This is the magic of technology, but they can see your computer components. So usually it's gamers who are hacking from a computer, and then they see some component part that their computer has, and they block that, so they cannot ever again play the game. They would have to buy a whole new computer.
Wow.
Yeah, so I hopefully at some point we have something like that on LinkedIn where, hey, this person has sent me 5 unsolicited messages, and then maybe they get limited, right? So we could, instead of just banning everybody with the algorithm, because then there can be some innocence in that.
Yeah.